I've been studying a fair bit of nutritional biochemistry lately, and one of the things that I've really noted is that we always focus on what to eat. So we talk about your macros, your carbohydrates, your proteins, your fats, but what we don't talk about is how you eat them. And I think that's really important because it isn't just about what you eat, because you also need to break it down and you need to absorb it in order to use those macros. So that's where I did an earlier post talking about the 5, 10, 15 principle, and I'll put that link in below, which is a really neat little principle to talk about how to eat. But one of the things I really want to stress today is to chew your food. If you read textbooks, they'll say not a lot of digestion happens in the mouth. You've got a little bit of fat and carbohydrate digestion there, you've got your amylase and your lipases there, but they don't do a whole lot. But what does happen though, is when you chew, it breaks down those food into smaller bits. And that's really important because that increases the surface area so that your stomach acid, your HCl in your stomach, can get a really good access, in particular to your proteins. That's really vital because that acid's really important for unfolding those protein molecules and then allowing those other enzymes to break down your food. So if you don't chew, particularly protein digestion becomes a real problem. One of the unsung heroes I uncovered was this little beauty here called GLP-1, glucagon-like peptide 1. And that's really an awesome little peptide there that's released in the gut when you chew. What that does is it increases your insulin levels and it also increases your insulin sensitivity. So what insulin does, hopefully you remember, is it draws glucose from the blood into the cells, which is really useful because having high and particularly fluctuating up and down levels of blood glucose is very destructive to the human body. So in terms of blood glucose control, A1. So piece of advice I'll give you, take your time when you eat, and if you want to do one thing in terms of how to eat, chew your food.